same. With a place called home, start feeling way strange. And it's not cause the age I've changed. I just feel at this age I should have been gone.
I'm Wade Anthony of Morning After Chill. I'm here with
Jeremy Michael Raymer.
And today we have this beautiful piece here. We got the Jordan 1s NY to Paris with a little spin on it. We'll get to that a little later. But first, how are you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me here today, man.
It's awesome, man. Like, it's been a while. It's been quarantine. What's been keeping you busy besides the obvious?
I mean, artwork's kind of always been my therapy, so it's nice. I've had a lot of projects lined up and have been able to kind of make my way through the pandemic as best I can.
Okay.
Pivot a little while back, do some print sales, and fortunately, Pittsburghers and some people abound have been able to support me and keep me rolling.
So, like, no video games?
Nah, no video games really for me, man. Like, if I can get out in nature and relax, that's definitely one of my go-tos.
You got the man in the woods vibe.
Yeah.
I like that. No, like, quarantine bay? Or... no
I've been seeing a new girl.
We got the exclusives here.
A new old one, actually.
We'll keep it on wraps. You got to tune in for the next episode of After Dark with Jeremy Raymer. No, man, it's good to have you here. I just want to get to know you, man. I've seen a lot of your work. I'm in the north side now.
Yeah.
I started out in Lawrenceville down here with the shop. But as I moved towards the further out to the north, man, you are heavy out there.
Yeah, I've covered a little bit over 100,000 square feet of public surface area at this point, last 7 years.
I'm going to do less talking, which is not my job, but I want the fans and all the followers and listeners to really figure out who you are. I know who you are, but who is Jeremy Raymer?
It's a heavy question.
I mean, you're a heavy character. And
yeah.
I'm like, I told, for background, I was very giddy for this interview. I never really invite people, but it was an opportunity. Like, this was our mutual, so I was like, man, I had to have you here. We're gonna get to the deets. Are you originally from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh born and raised. A little bit outside of downtown Pittsburgh. Grew up in Glassport, a little bit in Elizabeth Ford. University of Pittsburgh. Lived out in San Francisco for about 5 years. I've been back in Pittsburgh now for a decade.
Isn't it hard coming back from San Francisco?
I thought it was going to be harder than it actually was. I was there at a really good time. 05 to 10 was a great time. And subsequent times I'd gone back, I felt like the vibe wasn't the same as what it was.
Jeremy, you don't have to be politically correct. I'm from D.C., and I've been in Pittsburgh for 8 years now.
Yeah?
It ain't the same as the big cities.
Nah, it definitely isn't. I mean, everybody knows everybody here without a doubt.
That is very true,
Yeah.
especially in the dating world.
Certainly.
But, we talked a little bit off air, a little pre-cast. What was the moment for you where you were like, your Spider-Man moment, you got bit, you're like, oh, this is who I am now. This is my identity.
I was going into my annual review meeting with my manager. It was early April 2016. Literally walked into it. I was still on the fence about letting them know I was resigning. As soon as she started to talk, I was like, you got to hold up a minute. And it happened.
That's like, that moment. How did you feel in that moment? Because I have a similar one, but this is about you. So
it was a real surreal moment, because I had gone to University of Pittsburgh, 7 years combined. I went for biomechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and I wanted to be a career engineer. I wanted to be an inventor. I wanted to make things. Definitely wanted to have that creative component to it. And over the course of a career, definitely had some bosses that spurned me a bit, and it ended up being a paycheck. And the artwork on the side was always what drove me and what made me wake up every morning. And last 4 years I've been doing this, never woke up once and was like, I don't want to do this today. A lot of our regular jobs, you might get a good paycheck. It just doesn't matter. You live for the weekend, and now there ain't no weekend, there ain't no days. It's every day I get to do this.
You are preaching. And to those who don't really understand what that means, is there is no consistent schedule. There is no continuity. I'm going to go on the ledge and speak for both of us. We kind of get off on the work habit. I love what I'm doing, and if I ever stop loving it, I will die.
Yeah.
So the constant quote for creators like us is we never die. I mean, even with your paintings, they'll be there long before, long after your life is, you know what I mean? So my creative, I've created DJing things that people will go on the internet and be like, yo, I mean, we just lost Pop Smoke and all these other guys, and their music lives on and is a way to celebrate. And I think that is in itself a high where it's pretty dope. We're an artist who is really compelled, and the way you're moving people, because like for me, when I see that Clemente portrait that you've done, like I know I'm home.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you may have done it for a whole nother reason, but your art like was, for me, it means like, all right, 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like a peaceful thing, and you don't even know that you're touching that many more people, let alone the ones that tagged you. I saw on your social media, you know, it's old news, but when you talked about the Tiger King, you had like multiple people hit you within the span of 3 hours. I think you guys like 50, 60.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, and it's right down the street from my studio, so I could literally see people in real time going up. And I was like, you know, I've never seen anything like this. And there's my auto body garage is right there, and he's like, I need to start charging tickets. I've never seen this much traffic on the street in the entire 25 years we've been here.
Just watching you talk about it, like there's like a pure happiness that people just get to experience something else.
Yeah.
Like when you do your pieces, is there like a thought process in mind besides commission? Is there just like I'm just gonna do art today, or
You know, a lot of it is planned, but I feel like part of my practice that's important to me is to not always be super strict about it. On days where I want to go out and just mess around and do a piece,
Yeah.
I'll go out and do whatever. And sometimes I do stupid small pieces, like a 30, 45-minute piece. And a lot of times I paint over those too. Like there's quite a few buildings around town I've been fortunate to make connections with, and you know, I kind of virtually have an exterior scratch pad I get to mess around on. But for the most part, a lot of stuff is pretty planned out to execute on a, you know, on a budget and a timeline. So that's why I can produce so much.
Sometimes as an artist, I would say not even an artist. I'm going to speak from a consumer, and when I mean consumer, I mean a viewer. From a viewer's aspect, we sometimes forget that stuff costs money. Like that stuff is not free. Like no one just said, here's red, blue, black, green, yellow, pink, go for it. You're like, nah, I need 5 cans of this, 5 cans of that, maybe 10 of that.
Yeah.
And it's a true commitment. So with that being said, like, do you have like, because I feel like with creatives, we all have this thing, whether you're an athlete, creator, what's your regimen? What is your like go-to thing? Like, do you have to listen to? I saw it when I pulled up. You had your beats on. Like, is it a lot of music? Is it like you have to bang your head off a wall?
Definitely music driven. If I could have my beats, always without doubt, and especially the noise canceling ones. I just got these a couple months back. I love them. So yeah, I mean, dubstep EDM definitely drives a lot of the look to the piece too. When you see certain movements, it's me going to the beat, and I just a lot of times just like, you know, someone's playing guitar and they get their certain pattern down and they riff off that. That's what I do. I'll start doing something and then I'll just start doing and let it go like a flow state.
I'm about to go past some of your art and be like Shazam and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of pieces have.
He's definitely listening to some
Yeah, a lot of pieces have one specific song I'll listen to 100, 200 times a lot throughout, and it just, the energy of whatever I feel in my body, it kind of comes out on the wall from the music.
Dr. Dre, come hook my man up. Like I need to see I need to see growth, because if we can get more art because he has some beats. Yeah, I would love to see that. Okay, so you've done a lot. You spoke before and said over 100,000 square feet of real estate, north side alone. I seen that you have this now map.
Yeah.
You want to speak about it because it's fairly new?
Sure.
It's only
So I have an alternate account. My main one is Jeremy M. Raymer, but you could also pop over to Raymer Art Tours. And, you know, I've had an assistant for the past 2-3 years. Unfortunately, we worked together and put together a little self-guided free digital download map, and spread out all over the city here. There's about 32 locations, 17 different neighborhoods, and about 70 pieces at this point you could come check out. You could start in the middle, one end or the other, and see pieces all around.
Yeah, man. And last question before we get to this beautiful, obvious piece that we have in the middle that we haven't even acknowledged. Do you have a favorite piece?
You know, fortunately, a lot of times it's kind of like always the next one I'm going to work on, but I'll say the piece that I just got to do by the Tripped Hotel at 40th Street, 177, Tom Savini and the Jason mask, you know, that was a passion project of mine. So I put that one together, and, you know, it's the smallness of Pittsburgh. I reached out to Tom's daughter. Within 15 minutes, I was connected directly with Tom, and he was all about it. And I got to meet him, and just amazing dude. And it was just like kind of a perfect storm came together.
I'm looking at this piece, the detail, the color. This isn't like your Bigfoot. It's not like most of the gray scale aspects you do.
Yeah.
This is like, what made you want to go in more depth with the color? Because that Jason mask is like 40
Yeah.
different yellows.
Over the last 2 years, especially at least, like kind of my technique and my process has refined. So I feel like the last 4 or 5 portraits I've done, I've had a really good likeness, and especially with Tom, just increasing the palette and just pushing myself every time. I want every single piece to be better than the last.
Okay.
A friend of mine told me a while back, a lot of times an artist is like, I want it to be a little bit better. And you got him on the wall right there. Matt Gondak was like, I want to make my last piece look like shit compared to the new one. So it's just like I try to go
I love that.
levels beyond what I had done. And, fortunately, I've been, able to get out there and do it for the most part since. So the next one hopefully will be better than that one too.
That's like such a slight flex too. Like to walk past something like amazing, like, oh, that's my old shit.
Yeah.
You like that? Yes. That's crazy, man. But let's get to it, man. I've been teetering around the bush. Now we know a little bit about Mr. Jeremy M. Raymer. Now let's get to know these New York to Paris Jordan 1s. Can you please give some of the listeners and viewers a reason or how this even came about in the first place?
I had done a commission piece for a restaurant up in Garfield, Fish Nor Fowl, and the head chef, Dan Carlton, became familiar with my work, big supporter of mine. He's bought in several pieces, and then maybe a year and a half or so ago, he reached out to me and said, I picked up 2 pairs of these actually, these shoes, that kind of distress and age as you wear them. And he had seen some customs, and he's like, gave me a rough idea that he wanted Wu-Tang, wanted a little bit New York vibe, a little bit of Paris vibe, and some other elements. And I've done some other shoes. I do some T-shirts. I do denim jackets as well. So I work from as big a scale possible to as small as these, and just kind of ran with it. Came up with a few designs, and over the course of a week or two, we just kind of came up with it, and then I executed it.
What amazes me about it is, one, like I said, I follow a lot of the graffiti artists. First of all, we're in this climate now where I should understand more. Is that what you consider yourself?
It's kind of like music too. There's so many subgenres. At the end of the day, I just consider myself an artist, primarily a portrait artist, but I pride myself on being able to paint anything.
Okay.
That's why I've done a wide range of commissions and stuff like this too.
Fair.
Yeah.
As being, I should reiterate my question. As being more known for the graffiti art, I would say me being an outsider.
Yeah.
I didn't know but what I've been around. This was interesting to me for a simple fact that it's on a shoe.
Yeah.
And this is a very much smaller scale than what I've seen of your work.
Yeah.
Like I just learned about your more 48 inch or your smaller stuff.
A lot of people don't know I do smaller canvas pieces too.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff like on fences. I've seen a lot of the Homer, the psychedelics, and I was like, this guy has levels. But when I saw this and the fact that I do customs, I already know what it takes just to change the color of the shoe.
Yeah.
Let alone, now we have this piece right here. For those of you can't see, we'll do close-ups a little later. But this looks like a pixelated Biggie.
Yeah.
I can see every dot.
Yeah.
From like, and there's a huge gradient. The colors are thick. I just know the level of layer after layer after layer. First of all, I guess I want to say is, what made you choose these characters?
The specific characters were more so Dan's choice, but when I went on the search, when I see the image, the likeness of a portrait especially, I'll know that's the one without a doubt. And these ones came right off the bat.
Man, like, first of all, Biggie, obvious New York.
Yeah.
But the throw ODB.
Yeah.
And then, you could have just did Wu-Tang by itself, and like, that's, excuse my French, very basic bitch S. But the ODB, this is like the gritter, it's like the shine and the grit, where it's just like, man, now there's some history on this. It pulls you in. It's like, I'm a real fan of NY. You have the pixelated, the absence of color on this one, and I'm like, wow, working backwards like that is awesome. But also too, the piece that there's also the Statue of Liberty that's on here with the city line of Paris, which we'll all get into the details of it. But the fact that you use the shoe as itself to that's the underlying piece of art. It doesn't look like it's overused.
Yeah.
It looked like it's from the streets. Looks
Yeah.
like someone wore it. You even hit the back part of the shoe, where it exposes every aspect of the shoe. I'm a big fan on this huge thing because the shoe does not pop alone by itself. It's technically just a white and smoke gray shoe.
Yeah.
But the color of this popping pink coming from under, and the rise of the city has always been a New York theme, and just having the whole skyline on the midsole, which is crazy because this midsole looked like it came black.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not. It's a sail color. So, nah, man, this is just awesome in itself. But explain the process. Like this Paris one, I flip it around. It looks like a stencil. Is any of this a stencil?
It actually is all stencils. When I shrink down, especially usually like in the 4 foot by 4 foot and smaller realm,
Yeah.
I'll incorporate freehand and stencil then. But when we get down to this scale, it was all stencil. And this was I pushed my equipment quite a bit to be able to achieve the level of detail on these. I had gotten a special new hardened blade for my vinyl cutter, and then I also found this other product called Ultra Mask, which is a really flexible vinyl that is low tack adhesive. And that was also critical for these because we have uneven surfaces. So when we went over the Nike swooshes, for instance, I was able to take, like some sort of wooden element, and I was able to push it and get it so we could have tight lines across different planes.
It's crazy to now know, as I did my research, like your process on the bigger scale. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, was any of that incorporated like behind it? I guess is there any like
The baseline approach is actually virtually identical. Basically, Dan would give me the shoes. I take reference photos of all the angles, put it in Photoshop,
okay,
and then I start overlaying it. And since we kind of have some things to work around here, just like on a building, there's windows, there's doors, whatever. I try to do everything site specific.
Yeah.
So I was able to lay out on here the best way possible and scale things so that I thought they laid out as good as they could be on the piece. Over here, where we have the spikes of the Lady Liberty, to kind of fit that right in between where the lace is there.
Yeah, you got to be like dramatic. I mean, even with ODBs like Twist, you have it perfectly, like nothing's chopped off.
Yeah.
It's like, it's meant to be here.
Yeah.
What I like about this, and what is crazy, this is just dope in general. Yeah, man, like I'm just at a loss for words because it's just very clean. And what I was gonna say, because I lost my words for a second, there's a lot of engineering aspects behind this.
Yeah,
what
definitely.
It sounds like, and that's your background. I mean,
Yeah.
we hear for those who don't know, Virgil Abloh, like he did some engineering as well, and more in industrial, and he incorporated that into his art with the whole, it looked like caution tape, but it said off white instead.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting, and my background too is in engineering before I started business in college. So it's just very interesting to know the rules of engineering and then having that skill, but then turning it into something where I think that's very interesting in itself. You're super talented, man. Do you have any upcoming pieces that we should be on the lookout for?
One piece in particular definitely is going to be a showcase piece. It's an 8 foot by 20 foot long commission for a yoga studio that's going to be opening downtown.
Okay.
Aether Yoga. It's actually all stencils as well. I took elements from the altar of Zeus, or the Pergamon altar. So it's kind of marble statues of Greek gods and goddesses having this huge battle.
I love mythology.
It's gonna look like a marble statue off the wall. I finished the first panel.
I saw little clips of.
Yeah.
That looks amazing, man. I'm gonna tag you in a lot of stuff. I'm gonna tag the followers and a lot of stuff so they can see it. But I don't know what else to ask, man. Like I
do have one other project we could plug real quick too.
Plug that in.
I'm at the High Line, Pittsburgh. It's the renovation of the Riverwalk complex. I'll be doing 3 murals there.
Okay.
2 of them will be like historical Pittsburgh elements from the warehouse itself, and then also like a 1915 skyline view of Pittsburgh that'll be up on East Carson Street. And then they have a train car actually a railroad train car, and I'll be painting on that. That'll be the third
That
canvas.
is lit.
That one's gonna be. They're kind of giving me a bit more free reign on that. That one will be like way more street art-esque. Will be edgier. Won't be anything like the historical stuff. So that'll definitely be the showcase piece to come check out there.
Well,
I'll be out there through September, October.
when I guess I found another question. When you're doing your work, do you like your piece of solidarity and just you and your music, or?
Yeah, I do. You know, I definitely don't mind a crowd to watch, but once I get in the zone, it's kind of like I just like
It's
to
like,
go.
don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But, you know, I get to do what I do because the public is out there. So if someone's around, I never mind answering questions. And people are usually hesitant when I have my headphones on. But, you know, if people are around, you know, you're out there, please come say hello. What's up? I'll definitely come to, you know, chat with you for a few minutes.
All right, man. Anything you wanted to let people know was outside of this, or anything like you just want to give a shout out to? Anything brewing?
No, nothing in
You wanna
particular. You know, I had a lot of out of state and my first international mural lined up. So everything got pushed back a little bit from what's going on. So be looking for a lot of new stuff around town here. And maybe, you know, within 6 to 8 hour drive, I have some walls lined up. And, you know, just kind of keep grinding, keep painting, man.
And ladies, his Tinder is tinder.com/Jeremy M. Raymer. Thank you for coming. I'm so blessed to have you here. You're an awesome guy, very talented. I'm on the lookout for everything that you do. I'm happy to have this piece here. If you can add me to the tour, I would love people to just come and look.
Yeah, certainly, man.
I will make sure that they don't touch this. Nah, man, it's just awesome. I hope to see you around. My last favor would be if I can ask you to sign the wall, and then two, for those out there, this we already talked about, I know, but what's your favorite color again?
Black.
Damn right. See, it's a real color. So anyway, thanks, Jeremy. I'm Wade Anthony of the Morning After Show. This is episode 50, Talking Art, and I have my guest here,
Jeremy Michael Raymer.
and we're out. Thank you, G, for having us too as well.